Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is a weekly radio show and podcast about technology, so you'll know what's hot, what's not, and why. Make educated purchases. Learn how to master your existing gadgets. Get the most out of your wireless devices. Find out what's coming next. But unlike other tech shows out there, my goal is to also help demystify it all. Tech It Out is powered by ASUS, for those in search of incredible. But I'll tell you more about them shortly. We have a great show planned for you today. On this week's show, we'll talk about high-tech showers with Moen. Believe it or not, we'll learn about new cybersecurity threats with Centrify. Not a day goes by that we don't hear about yet another cyber attack. We'll chat this hour about an app designed to combat fake news. It's called Ground. And we'll talk with the Pela case, folks, about a biodegradable phone case. That's all coming up and more on today's Tech It Out. While it's said the ancient Greeks invented the shower system, it wasn't until indoor plumbing, many hundreds of years later, did we start to see showers appear in the homes of the wealthier people during the second half of the 19th century. And really not much has changed since then, believe it or not. Yes, hotter water and more pressure, but that's about it. Until now, where technology is changing the experience, thanks to Moen. Joining us on the line to explain is Gary Scott. He's the Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce at Moen. Welcome to the show, Gary.
Mark, thanks for having me. Excited to talk about our new products today.
Yeah, awesome. Now, before we do that, tell us a bit about the company, Moen, first.
Well, thanks, Mark. Consumers will recognize Moen for our wide range of kitchen and bathroom faucets, in addition to shower heads and shower systems. One of the ways that we stay at the forefront of our industry is our use of technology to make consumers' lives easier. This has led us to bring new technology to the shower and also the kitchen that we believe is truly innovative.
And we're going to get to both of those areas of the home during our interview, but let's start off with the bathroom. Okay, so it's no secret that technology is changing virtually every product out there, and that even includes showers. So how so?
Well, now Moen is making the next generation of shower systems with our latest product called the U by Moen voice-activated shower. So this shower system replaces the traditional shower controls with a Wi-Fi enabled digital control panel. So the panel is mounted inside the shower. It allows the user to do the usual things such as turn on the shower, set the right temperature, activate one or more shower heads, body sprays, whatever your shower is set up with. But you do it all now, Mark, with the press of a button. What's great is that you can also do this now using a smartphone app, so you can control your shower from your smartphone. And we have recently launched an added feature through Amazon Alexa to enable you to control your shower using your voice.
All right, so you can now control your shower in one of three ways. Your voice through an Amazon Alexa-powered device, like an Echo or so, an app on your smartphone or tablet, or the control panel inside the shower.
That's right, Mark. Imagine lying in bed and using the voice activation feature through Amazon Alexa to turn on your shower. You could actually preset the shower to one of your 12 favorite customized settings. And this could range from an invigorating morning shower, or it could be later in the day where you want that soothing post-workout cool down. But the shower can also be set to warm up and pause. So if you're waking up and you want to get the shower up to the right temperature, it's ready and waiting when you are. Or you could even run it in an eco-friendly mode when you're in the shower, so you're going to use less water while you're taking a shower. So it's really all about having technology, whether it's in the palm of your hand or it's at the press of a button in the shower. It all makes your life easier.
So it's all about customization. Like, for example, my youngest son, Ethan, loves super hot showers, like to the point it's like scolding. I can't even go in there whenever I go in after him without adjusting it. So this way you tailor to what you like, or as you mentioned, you may have come from the gym and you want a cooler shower just to sort of freshen up. So you can control that and make other adjustments as well, like different shower heads and so on.
You've described it exactly right, Mark. And as a parent, and parents often mention this to me, As soon as you mention teenage kids within the house, they often ask, can I put a timer on it? And in this case, you actually could. So you could put an end to the shower, not just a customized beginning.
Yeah, I think parents who look at the water bill would be happy to know that that's an option as well. So someone doesn't just sit in the shower way too long. So what's the setup process like for You by Moen? Is it difficult? Is this something that you would have done professionally, or is this like an off-the-shelf kind of solution?
That's a great question, Mark. And consumers are concerned about putting technology in their home and not being able to adapt to it or struggle through the setup. In this case, you don't need a professional. The consumer can do it themselves. And we've made the setup process as simple as possible. We've actually set up an app, so you download the app, and it guides you through the process of pairing your phone to the controller in the shower and also pairing the controller to Amazon Alexa, so you get the benefits of the voice activation.
Don't you have to have some sort of plumbing knowledge or is that separate? I mean, just because you put that controller in the shower, it has to be connected, obviously, to the water.
Technology set up between your phone and the shower controller is something the consumer could do. The actual installation of the You by Moen shower system would require a plumbing professional to install it. There's piping and typical plumbing work to complete that would require a professional to do that in most cases. Yeah,
so sorry, that's what I was trying to figure out. So for sure you would have this done professionally, but then the tweaking of it after that is easy enough to set your options and so on through the app, through a voice activated speaker, or on the controller itself. But yeah, initially you would need that. And how do you work that? Do you work that out with the retailer or through Moen directly? How do you book an appointment to have someone install that?
Usually your plumber will do the whole system setup for you. And then if you have any issues with the product after the fact, you're able to contact Moen through our 1-800 line to get any service help that you may need. But it's really designed to work from day one, and there should be very minimal problems using our very simple-to-use downloaded app.
We're chatting with Gary Scott. He's the VP of Marketing and Ecom at Moen, Moen, a leading company that, of course, you know from bathrooms and kitchens, both in the residential and commercial space. So before we talk about kitchen faucets and what's new there, and of course, this is a technology show, so I'm most interested in that. Who would you say the You by Moen is for, and how much does the system cost?
Well, we see this as appealing to a really wide range of consumers. There's that person everybody knows that has to have the latest technology, whether it's a TV or a smartphone, and this is yet another thing to add to their list. But if you are building a new home or doing a major bathroom renovation, that's really the ideal time to install this type of You by Moen shower system. You will need the control panel and a master valve to control the flow of water. So those are the working parts of the You by Moen shower system. But by adding those, you're replacing some other pieces that a traditional shower wouldn't have. So in total, you're going to spend about 20% more to put in a digital You by Moen shower than you would if you put in the traditional shower with the valve that you turn by your hand. So smaller incremental price to pay, but the time to do it is when you're doing that major renovation or building a new, and having that shower that's just better than anybody else on your street.
And possibly saving money as well with timers and the Eco or Eco mode that uses less water during the shower as well.
That's correct, Mark. And there's also some labor savings potentially in installing this shower because it does use less parts than a traditional shower.
Okay. So, Gary, before we wrap up, I did want to talk about kitchen faucets for a bit. I know you've got ones that have hands-free technology like we see in many restaurants and hotels and such. Tell us about what's available for the home when it comes to kitchens.
Well, everyone today is looking for more ways to make their busy life easier. And we've been able to use our digital technology to bring a hands-free faucet to the kitchen. So the Moen MotionSense Wave kitchen faucet allows you to wave the faucet on, literally wave it on and wave it off without having to touch the faucet itself. So this is ideal when your hands are full and you can't touch the faucet, or when they're covered in food and you just don't want to touch the faucet. It's a convenient way and often saves some extra cleanup. So the Moen MotionSense Wave faucet, a great technology to make your life easier in the kitchen.
Okay, great. So is there a name for this family of products for those who are looking to replace their existing kitchen setup?
We use this motion sense technology across a broad spectrum of our kitchen faucets.
Okay.
So it's on multiple faucets you'll see at your local retailer, online, or a plumbing showroom.
Okay, Gary. So where could we learn more about these products, both for the bathroom and for the kitchen?
Well, the U by Moen shower and the Motion Sense Wave kitchen faucets are available to be purchased today. You can find out more information on the product and where to buy them by visiting our website at moen.com. That's MOEN.com.
All right, Gary, thank you so much. Gary Scott, Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce at Moen. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mark. Always a pleasure to join you on your show.
Hey, in a moment from now, we're going to return with Pela. We're going to talk about the Pela cases for smartphones and how they're better on the environment. But first, a thank you to the show's title sponsor. Tech It Out is brought to you by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS, for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. ASUS just wowed the crowds at Computex, a big international computer show, with this new laptop that has this touchscreen instead of a trackpad. It's really neat. And then, of course, next week is the E3 Video Game Expo in LA. ASUS will be there too. Cool stuff. All right, we'll be right back with more Tech It Out. You're listening to the Radio America Network.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Hey, did you know that Friday, June 8th, was World Ocean Day? You might have seen that viral video going around Facebook about all the plastic and other waste floating around a huge swath of the Pacific Ocean. It's referred to as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is now, get this, 3 times the size of France. Disgusting. Well, thankfully, there are companies like Pela that are looking to turn this all around, but they need your help. To tell us all about Pela and the Pela phone cases, we're joined on the line by Matt Bertulli. He's the co-founder of the company. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here.
Great. Now, before we talk about your smartphone cases, tell us a bit about Pela, the company. That's Pela.
Yeah, so we make phone cases, but we're a company that's committed to a future without waste. So we make products out of better materials that are already available and, for some reason, nobody else seems to be using.
All right. So instead of using plastic, which takes, if not hundreds of years, if even longer, to biodegrade, you're using more eco-friendly materials in something that millions and tens of millions of us are buying, which are these phone cases to protect our investment.
What's crazy is 1 billion of them made every year. 1 billion plastic phone cases made every year.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot. So you're doing your part to try to turn this around, as I said in the introduction, Matt, by creating what's called a Pela case. And that's the website too, by the way, PELACASE. So tell us about what makes your cases different from the competition, and what material are we talking about here exactly?
Yeah. So the core difference is that we're 100% compostable. Right, which is better than biodegradable in that when something can compost, you can throw it in like a backyard compost, which has some heat and critters and bacteria, and it breaks down back into organic material. And our cases, like, for example, if you were in California and you threw our case into a backyard compost there, you're looking at 6 to 9 months before it's gone. Right, it just turns back into dirt. And the material is the crazy thing is, like, there's a lot of product out there that have been starting to play around with. It's called PLA. It's polylactic acid. And we use polylactic acid, which is like a resin that comes from corn. It's like corn plastic, basically. And we also mix in good old Canadian flax chive. So if you know what flaxseed is, we use it for oil up here. Some people use it for linen. And the chive, or the waste from that plant, gums up farmers' equipment. So here in Canada, they actually just light the stuff on fire to get rid of it. And we use it to toughen up the case, so to create a stronger material and a more organic material. So we fill our cases. That's why if you look at the photos, they've got like these flecks in it. That's good old Canadian flax, man.
Okay, yeah, I've seen pictures of the cases. I've actually written about them before. I'm not sure if you know this, Matt, but I wrote a piece for Owl Magazine for kids on all the different ways that you can buy products that are eco-friendly. So I
That's
did.
right.
Mm-hmm. So I did see that the case had these little flecks in it. So the material that I saw in your press materials, the material that I believe the cases are made from, it's called flax stick. Is that,
yes.
Do you use that word? So FLAXSTIC, yeah.
Yeah, that we've been using that word for years. It's flax and plastic, or flax and bioplastic.
So I love the idea that it can
compost.
But that's good and all. But when we buy a case, we want it durable enough to protect our phone when we drop it. Not if we drop it, but when we drop it. So can it do double duty? Can you help the environment and help your investment at the same time?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's a very protective case. So it's like a mid-weight case. It's not one of those like ultra thin, useless ones that just look cool. And it's not I'll survive a helicopter drop, massive case. So it's somewhere in the middle. It does the job for like 99% of the population. It's so much so that we actually have a screen repair guarantee. It's like if your phone cracks while wearing a Pela, I think we do $200 to repair your screen, right? Because the case is designed to be protective. It comes up over the ribs of your phone, like the edges of your phone. So like unless you suffer a pretty hard direct hit on the screen, your phone's good. Like I've thrown mine everywhere, and it does a great job of protecting the phone.
We're chatting with Matt Bertulli. He is the co-founder of Pela. That's P-E-L-A. They're a team of nature-loving entrepreneurs looking to build a passionate global community committed to creating a waste-free future. That's what it says in your materials. And Pela case is one example of that. So the Pela case, what smartphones are supported? And as you mentioned, it's not covering, just to clarify, it's not covering the screen, but the edges of the case come around the side so that if it falls flat down on its face, it won't break the screen. It will just hit the rims, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're covering all of the iPhones right now. And then we have the Samsung Galaxy S7, the S8, and the S8 Plus. And then the Google Pixel 2, Pixel 2 XL come out later this month. And then every month for the rest of the year, we're releasing more models. And we've even got a solution to the whole screen protection thing coming out soon. So we're looking for the whole phone to protect the entire thing with a very eco-friendly option.
So if it rains, I know they're not waterproof cases, but they're fine, or they?
Oh yeah,
because they break down so easily. Are they then more susceptible to the elements?
No. So that's the great thing with compostable material is it needs to go into a compost to break down. It's not going to fall apart in your pocket. It's not going to water dissolve. Like it actually needs to go into a proper compost to go away. So that means like if you got your phone for 2 years, your Pela case will last you 2 years.
And the price for the Pela cases?
We sell them, they start at $35 and up to $39. It's about a little less than the average Apple or Samsung phone case that they sell.
All right. Pelacase.com. That's PELACASE.com. Matt Bertulli, thank you very much for your time and good luck with this.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Cheers. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out when we learn about the Ground app meant to combat fake news. Stay with us.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
We've all heard the phrase fake news, and I don't mean just Trump's witch hunt allegations by mainstream media, but more importantly, perhaps, Facebook and Twitter flooded with politically slanted articles by non-existent, usually overseas publications that attempt to look like established media organizations. So now there's an app called Ground that is attempting to zap this misinformation using artificial intelligence. Joining us on the line to tell us about Ground is its founder, Harleen Kaur. Hi, Harleen. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me on the show.
Before we talk about your solution, it's an app called Ground. Tell us about the problem. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there is so Facebook and Twitter have done an amazing job of connecting people and giving them access to information. But Facebook and Twitter did not set out to be news organizations. They just happen to find themselves because of their reach that people are sharing news. So they don't have checks and balances in place that you need to be able to rely on information that's going through Twitter or Facebook. So as you said, that there are news organizations sitting elsewhere and publishing stuff that people just assume it's news and it's not correct. There are quite big loopholes on both the platforms. Just to share one with you, so less than 1% of content on Twitter is geo-verified. So let me...
All right, let's please explain that. What is geo-verification or geo-verify?
Right. So what that means is that when I'm tweeting something, I can upload a photo or video and pick a location that is from anywhere. It actually gives you a drop-down menu. All of you can try. Mm-hmm. And so I can sit here in Toronto and pick my location to be Charlottesville. I can sit in Siberia and pick my location to be Middle East or wherever it is. And Twitter allows me to do that this picture that I'm uploading from somewhere else and that has been totally doctored is allowing me to pick my own location, which is crazy because all of us have locations on our phone and our computers. Why not just verify where you're actually uploading it from? And so they just totally bypass that. What happens with that is when you see that photo or video and it has hashtag Charlottesville or hashtag, I don't know, even Hurricane Harvey, and then that gets retweeted a few thousand times and people start thinking that is the truth. So they take social validation of proof of authenticity, and which is a big loophole that Twitter is allowing to happen.
Yeah, so sometimes I see the benefit of it. So, for example, I don't like to broadcast when I'm away because I don't want to, basically tell my social world that my home is empty. So what I have done in the past, Harleen, is let's say I come back from New York City on a trip. I can check into the hotel or Times Square with a photo that I didn't want to upload until I got back. And say, hey, this was taken in Times Square, so I can choose that on Facebook or Twitter, whether it's a picture or even just words. So that's a legitimate application for making it look like you were somewhere else when you really are now back at home. In my case, but many times it's being abused by these so-called political organizations that are. That's
absolutely it, right? How there are pictures, and it's not just a picture that is a raw, an accurate picture. There are pictures that have been doctored. Yeah. And that's the other loophole that Twitter and Facebook has and that Ground is solving, that you can actually Photoshop or edit videos and upload them. And Facebook and Twitter, because they were not meant for this purpose, they don't check that it has been tampered with or not. They allow you to upload anything.
All right. So now tell us about Ground. This is an app that attempts to solve this common problem.
That's right. So what Ground is doing is actually taking a breaking news from Facebook and Twitter and then putting a verification layer on top. So things like geo-verification, is that originating where the user is saying it is originating or not, and then checking if the metadata of the file is correct or not, is the picture being tampered or not. Mm-hmm. So once we can verify that, we break that as a news. So there might be a slight delay of what you see on Twitter or Facebook, but what you see is the news that is verified. But on top of that, what we do is Facebook and Twitter are great for getting breaking news. What they don't provide is context and continuity that journalists like you provide. So what we do is we take that breaking news and then also, along with that breaking news, show all the different publications that are reporting about that as soon as they start reporting about that. And we've showed that several different publications side by side. So, for example, the unfortunate people being killed in Gaza today, we picked that up from Twitter. We broke that news. But then as soon as BBC, CNN, and local Israel Times started reporting about that, we started showing that news side by side. So you get the full picture news and a verified news as it happens.
Okay, so the idea is that you download the free Ground app to your mobile device, and then by reading Ground, you're going to get more, or the argument is that you're going to get more accurate news based on who's uploading it, when it was uploaded, where, if that image was doctored, and I guess that's where the artificial intelligence comes
Exactly.
in. You probably cross-reference a photo with many others, and if it looked like it was altered, it would flag it. Is that right? Okay.
Exactly. You explained that better than me.
No. You did a great job. I just wanted to reiterate what exactly Ground is all about. So this is a free app. Does it work with both Android and iPhone?
It does. And there is one more element of ground that's worth mentioning and I didn't mention.
Please.
What we do is as soon as we find news breaking on Facebook and Twitter, again, we use artificial intelligence to pick that breaking news up and giving it a newsworthiness and a veracity score. What we do is we automatically send notifications to ground users who happen to be in the geofence where that news is happening and saying, hey, we just heard this happened at, High Street and Main Street. Can you tell us, is this really happening? And you can say, yes, no, I don't know. And then you can upload photos and videos. And if you think it's different, or you can add more information to that piece of news.
Right. This is great. Yeah, it's almost like, it's crowdsourcing the verification of news by providing a platform for checks and balances.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ground is available now. It's spelled just as it sounds, Ground, and I guess it's short for sort of being on the ground.
So the easiest way to find Ground is going to our website, ground.news, and going to Play Store or App Store link and downloading it from there.
Okay, all right. Harleen Kaur, thank you so much for your time. This sounds great. It's long overdue, and I wish you much luck with the Ground app. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out when we learn about cybersecurity with Centrify. But first, a quick shout out to my sponsor. This show is brought to you by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com for more info. We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Not a day goes by we don't hear about yet another cybersecurity incident, whether it's a massive data breach, ransomware attack, a phishing scam, or a nasty virus. The threat is real, folks, for businesses big and small, as well as regular consumers falling victim to these malicious scams out there in cyberspace. Well, one company, Centrify, has made it their business to protect other businesses by adopting what's called a zero-trust security platform. To explain what this is, we're joined by Centrify's CEO, Tom Kemp. Welcome to the show, Tom. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Now, clearly, cybersecurity is one of the biggest downsides to the digital age that we're living in. I think we can all agree to that. So tell us about Centrify and what separates your approach to fixing this global issue.
Yes. So Centrify, we're a cybersecurity company headquartered in Silicon Valley here. And yeah, we do take a different approach from other security solutions out there. We take an approach which we call zero trust security. The old way of doing security assumed that, hey, if you're on the inside of the corporate network, we're going to trust you and kind of let you do your things. But with the world increasingly moving to cloud and the fact that hackers are continuously targeting users and their credentials, you really need a new way and new thinking about going about security, which we call zero trust, which is about verifying the user, validating their device, limiting access and privilege. And we're very proud of the fact that we've become a very rapidly growing company with more than 5,000 customers, including more than half the Fortune 100.
Oh, wow. So in your experience and from what you're hearing back from the companies you're servicing, a zero trust platform is a smarter way to go. Is this tied, Tom, to what we often refer to as social engineering, how often the weakest link is the employee, is maybe a mistake, something they clicked on or something that got duped into doing?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, I mean, as a industry, we're spending over $90 billion per year on cybersecurity. And the reality is the number of hacks and number of breaches are far outstripping the continued investment that we're putting into trying to make ourselves and businesses and governments more secure. And so the hackers have learned that you and I, in a consumer setting or in a business setting, we're the weakest link. And so they're specifically targeting us and our passwords, our what we call credentials. And if you look at recent surveys like the Verizon data breach report, it says that 80% of breaches involve stolen or compromised credentials. And not only do they want regular end users, but they want those privileged accounts within our businesses, the Oracle, the sysadmin accounts, the DBA accounts, the root accounts, et cetera, because those have the proverbial keys to the kingdom. So if you look at the top attack vector now being identity, and then factoring in the whole move to cloud, the whole move to mobile, where increasingly more and more IT is outside the corporate network, you really start saying to yourself, the current approach is just not working. This always trust approach that we had to security is no longer applicable, and you really need to move to this never trust, always verify mentality where the focus shifts on securing the user, their device, and limiting what they can do and access and the privileges they have.
Other threats, no doubt, include other trends like the BYOD movement, the bring your own device movement, where we're using often our personal tech and using it for work purposes, as well as things like IoT, Internet of Things, more entry points to the network. So no doubt that this problem is being compounded by other trends. Are you referring to two-step authentication, which often marries something you know with something you have, like a password with your phone where you get a message sent to you? Is that part of the Zero Trust platform?
Absolutely. So look, us relying on a password by itself is brain dead. Just if we were to rely on an ATM card that had no PIN associated with it, because people will want to steal your card, just like that they want to steal your password. And so you need to have another layer of authentication that you add onto it. So it's something like a passcode, and something that you have. And in the case of accessing business applications, something you have is your mobile device. So you can type a password, and at the same time, you can get a push notification to something uniquely you have, which is your device, and use that either to respond to a notification or use technology like Touch ID on your phone that provides that multi-factor authentication or two-step authentication, as you said.
We're chatting with Centrify's CEO, Tom Kemp, about their Zero Trust security platform for businesses. Now, on top of this two-step or two-factor verification or authentication, you're also leveraging artificial intelligence, from what I understand, and big data. So if your platform detects something a bit odd, like you recently logged in to your network in Silicon Valley, and all of a sudden you've logged in London, England, an hour later, it's going to flag that, right? Isn't that? Can you explain maybe a bit how AI is helping here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we've had this technology. We're all probably used to getting a phone call from the credit card company and says, hey, it looks like you have some weird transactions here. The interesting thing is we've never really applied that to day-to-day business, transactions. It's been mostly in the consumer space where we've seen the machine learning. And so now with technology that we provide as part of that verifying the user and validating the device, you're right, we're feeding information about what's the steady state of what Tom, the user, normally does. And if we detect some anomalies like, hey, he's never used this device before, or what you described is what we call geovelocity, that 5 minutes ago he's in San Francisco, now he's in London. That's not possible.
We'll continue our chat with Centrify when we return.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Centrify's CEO, Tom Kemp. Now, speaking of users, consumer protection is also top of mind these days with all the recent data breaches and the GDPR privacy changes. Can a zero trust approach help there too?
Absolutely. Look, I mean, we're obviously seeing this in Europe with GDPR. We've seen other regulations regarding, access of personally identifiable information. We've seen that with the payment card industry, what we call PCI, the data security standard, et cetera. So it's all a common theme, which is organizations have very valuable information that bad guys want to get at. And historically, the information has been more financial information, but now we're seeing that people are attacking, healthcare data, and also trying to access at work your Social Security number, et cetera. And so, and be able to use that information for very bad things. And so what a zero trust approach does is make sure that they're not trusting anyone trying to access that information, right? And it kind of flips the old security paradigm. And in the old days with security is like, oh, yeah, the guy's got antivirus, he's on the corporate VPN, and we're using a firewall, so go to town, go crazy, right? But now, with the fact is that it's hard to differentiate who's an insider versus an outsider with the whole rise of mobile and SaaS applications, and that there's been so much spoofing going on of users and stolen credentials because of phishing, et cetera, that having that approach of never trusting, always verifying is so critical. And I think Centrify is really leading this charge where we're going about and say, look, you really got to verify the user, you really got to validate the device, you really have to limit access and privilege, and don't trust anything and anyone along the way as you go about doing that, and then also leveraging that machine learning to make the process even more fluid and striking that right balance between security and productivity that we really need in business.
Before we wrap up, Tom, tell us about Secure the Vote and what's taking place next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So Centrify is leading this initiative called Secure the Vote. And if you go to secureth.vote and check it out, and this is really targeting governments, be it state or even local, and even as well the national governments, to focus on providing the Centrify Zero Trust technology to secure the voting infrastructure of our democracy here. And what we've seen is obviously coming out of the 2016 election, and we started seeing this with the midterms, that the hackers are actually emboldened by the success and chaos that they've caused to our democracy. And so what we're doing is making our technology available for free to state, local electoral boards to secure their infrastructure, be it the voting databases, the systems, et cetera, and applying this methodology that we talked about called Zero Trust that really Centrify is championing to make sure that hopefully no bad things happen. And we just saw the bad stuff that's happening, and we wanted to make our technology available to these government agencies.
All right, so our listeners can learn more about that at secureth.vote. That's all you need to type into the URL window of your favorite web browser, secureth.vote. And then finally,
Absolutely.
Tom, where could our listeners learn more about Centrify, and how do businesses reach out to leverage your services?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, definitely visit www.centrify.com, CENTRIFY.com, and just reach out directly right there. Furthermore, we're hosting this Zero Trust Summit coming up, and we're very excited about all the industry leaders from analyst groups such as Forrester to other security vendors such as Palo Alto Networks, Fortinet, and others. We're all bringing all these people together, the smartest people, thinking about, talking about, and implementing Zero Trust, and we're leading the charge for this event as well. So that's another way that people can learn more about not only Zero Trust security, but also about Centrify.
Tom Kemp, thanks so much for your time. I've really enjoyed the chat, and good luck next week.
Great. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for listening to Tech It Out, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's program. This show is brought to you by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS, for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Looking forward to chatting with you next time on Tech It Out, heard nationally on the Radio American Network and through the podcast. All the best.